So the code we've got so far works. It moves the penguin from right to left. I'm in the actual, let's just have a look at the actual one we're in. So we're in the game at the moment. If I do shift and put the penguin in and run, I'd see if I do my left key, right key, it turns and moves. So the movement's okay, but in this task what we're going to do is refactor the code. And what this basically means is structuring it so it's easier for somebody else to understand and maintain. That's the simple definition of refactoring. What do we need to do here? Well, for the penguin, we've got all the code is in this act method. Now, the act method in Greenfoot is the method that's called every time it runs. Basically, the speed, if we look at this, speed is just how many times that run method is called per second. So it's called, can be quite a few times a second, you can look it up. Anyway, we shouldn't have anything in the act method except calls to other methods. We want to keep this very simple because it's a controlling method. So basically we want to move all this code here that checks what's happening with the keys into another method. But let's explain it very briefly what this code's doing. So if Greenfoot is keyed down as a method, part of the Greenfoot class, and it can check the keys. This is going to check if I click the left arrow key. If I have, the next thing it does is change the image for the penguin so it's facing left. This here is, well, let's have a look at this first of all. We've got a method called setLocation. This is inherited from the actor class, and basically what it does is it just sets the location to a particular x and a particular y coordinate. So basically x is the horizontal axis along here, so along this side here, and y is the, sorry, I've got the yes, y is the vertical axis along here. And so at any particular time we can position, by using set location, we can actually position the penguin wherever we want. So, and we do it by x and y coordinates. In this particular case we just want to move the penguin, so what we do is first of all we find, there's another method called getX, and that just says what's the x coordinate that the penguin's currently at the moment, and this one says what's the y coordinate. We then use those to set the location to x and y, with one little difference. I've put here -7, and what that means is move the penguin 7 spaces if you like, or take 7 spaces of its current x coordinate, its horizontal one. In simple terms, it's going to move the penguin 7 spaces to the left. If you look down at the one where we check the right key, we add 7 to the x coordinate. So basically what we're doing there is moving it, if you like, 7 places to the right. So x is along the horizontal bar. So if we take 7 places off of x, its current location, we move it 7 places to the left. If we add 7 places to x, we move it to the right. We'll have a look later at the y one. So that's what that's doing. But as I said before, main task at the moment is to tidy this code up, to restructure it by refactoring it. What I want to do is have a separate method, and it's only going to be used within this class, so I'm going to make it private as its access modifier. It's not going to return anything, it's just going to do something, so that's void. I'm going to give it a name that's fairly common, you've seen it in Trick the Turtle and other Greenfoot methods, check keys. And I'm going to pass in the speed. I'll explain that in a moment. I'm just going to pass in a parameter. I'm just going to call it speed, so it's an integer parameter. Let's put the braces in, so we're ready for the code. So we've got a method called check keys, doesn't return anything, and takes a parameter. I'm going to move all this code, so I'm going to cut all the if statement and place that in there. So far so good. So my act method at the moment's got no code in it. What I want it to do is call this check keys method and pass in a speed. What I want to do is get rid of this. It's not good practice to hard code numbers. It's the same number every time, and if we want to change the speed we've got to go in several places to change it. So what I want to do here is get rid of the 7 and change that to speed, a variable, and this one as well. And what that's going to do is we're going to pass in the speed we want it to run at to move that into the method here, and then it's just going to use that in these two set location methods. So now all we have to do in the act method is run our check keys, if I could spell it properly, check keys method, and I'm just going to pass in 7 here. That's basically it. So we call the method check keys, the computer runs off, puts in 7, so the speed becomes 7 in each of these cases, and we've got exactly the same code, but it's now a bit cleaner because our act methods only shows the methods it's calling. Remember, this is a controlling method, and so what I've done is create that. Let's just test that it's well, it's compiled already, no syntax errors, and let's just make sure the game still works. So reset, let's put in a penguin. It's not going to do anything different, it's just going to move the same. Okay, so that's basically it. Why don't you go off and do that for your own program? So create a new method with a parameter, call it check keys, cut all your if statement and put it into that method, and then call the method with a parameter. You can change the number and just see what it does yourself. Okay.